Okay. Should we start again?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, hey. How are you doing?
I'm fine. My back is a little bit worse than last week.
Okay.
So this is troubling me the last couple of days, but otherwise it's going more or less good.
Okay. So there was a change in your back problems in general?
I think I did a lot of things last week, and every time when I do a lot of things, it gets worse instead of better, and I think that was the main problem.
Okay. So how did your last week go?
Yeah, I was really busy. There was a new event in the kindergarten for my daughter, and I wanted to volunteer because there were less parents there, and they really needed someone. So I volunteered and tried to get like a little kindergarten party, a carnival thing. So the kids dressed up, and it was really last minute organized. So I tried to like build up the tables and everything, and I had to carry stuff, and that wasn't really good for my back.
No, I can
But it
imagine.
was a really fun party though, so the kids were really happy afterwards, and that made it kind of worth it.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like fun. So did they call you like on short notice?
Yeah, I think they called like 2 days before the party, and they were like, yeah, we know, because I told the kindergarten as well that because I wasn't there for a couple of weeks to pick my daughter up, and they were like asking like, if something happened in your family. My daughter were acting strange because she didn't see me that often, and so she was a little bit whiny and so on, and they recognized that, so it's a really great kindergarten, and they take really good care of my child. And then they called me like 2 days before the party, and they were like, yeah, I know that you're troubling with your health and so on, but we really need someone, and some of the parents cancelled on short notice.
Okay.
So yeah, I was like not the only, but they're one of the last choices from them to help them. Otherwise, their party wouldn't
Oh, I see.
go how it was. So yeah, I volunteered. And
So do I get that right that the kindergarten knows about your like health issues right now?
yes. They asked me, and I was like, I was feeling silly to not tell them that something is wrong with my back, and that's why I wasn't there that much. And I also wanted to explain them that I was not able to see my daughter in that
Of course.
their first period when it happened that often, so that they know how to handle it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's mainly the point why I told them.
Okay, and how does it affect your work at the kindergarten that you told them?
I think they step back, so they don't ask me that often, because it was really like last year I was there for most of the parties, and they invited me for when something special was happening, because I was really kind of not really of a staff member, but I was really like a close parent for them to help. Yes, but in the last couple of weeks they kind of stepped back and were not calling me that often, or told me like, yeah, we have that and that, but you may come, but you don't have to. And so yeah, that was really nice. Actually.
So you feel supported
Yeah.
by the kindergarten,
Yes.
that they give you different activities. I think.
Yes.
Okay, well that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I get that you still like volunteer at the kindergarten, and you also still work at the hospital.
No, it took a little bit of time off
Okay.
now in the hospital, because it's just not working out. I try to be there when I have to, but at the moment there are not that many people sick, so no, from the staff members, of course.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to take my time off, because it's not good for me. I can't help the patient how I would like to help
Yeah,
them,
of course.
and I try to be there when I have to, but if I'm able to stay back, I will.
No, colleagues react to that?
They're actually really nice. I mean, they're understand, but I feel like they're getting annoyed about that
Okay.
because they have to do extra shifts, and it's really common in the hospital to do that. And when they have to do that in an extra amount, they're annoyed. I get that. They have family as well, and yeah, but I'm just not able to handle the patients as well as they are, and I feel bad when I work, when I can't help them, and I have to call a colleague to, like, for example, like carry one child from one room to the next, and I need help every time, and it's not good for my colleagues, it's not good for me, it's not good for the patients, so it's really difficult. But I feel like their whole relationship to them starts to change because they feel like I'm not a full member, so I make more work than I give.
Yeah, I see.
If you can say it like that, yeah. So that makes me kind of sad because I really had a really good relationship before, and they were really supportive in the beginning, and they were like, "Oh, that's so you were so important for our staff and for our team, and we were working really great together and everything." And so they were kind of friends for me. So it's really sad that it starts to change, and I'm not quite sure if it will change if I quit the job, if I still stay in contact with them, because a couple of weeks ago I would say, like, yeah, I would still visit them and I still would, yeah, but at the moment I'm not quite sure.
So you feel a little disappointed by them that they don't support you, even it's not your fault that you can't have them right now?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. How would you describe the relationship to your colleagues before the accident or before your injury?
It was really nice. We were working hand in hand. Like I think I told you last week that I did some managerial positions in the hospital as well. So when I tried to do the schedule for everyone, we were really working together. And when somebody said, like, "Oh, there is the birthday of my mom," then we were every time looking that this would be possible for her to go there, and that she didn't have to, like, say at 3 o'clock, like, "Oh, I have to go because I have a shift in 2 hours." So that worked really well, or this works out really well. And even if I said, like, "Oh, my child is sick and I have to stay home," there were every time someone who was happily to help and to go there and try to support the team, even if she was not working at that day. And I was the same, like, when someone else called me on last minute and were like, "Yeah, I'm sick, I'm at home," or "My child is sick at home, is it possible for you to come?" I was happy to help and go there. And I think that the whole team were, like, really close, and we didn't do a lot in our free time, but we saw each other quite regularly in the hospital, and it was a really nice team, and it's still a nice team, but yeah, I'm kind of excluded because I'm not working as much, and I'm not able to work as much, and they're, yeah.
Have you talked to them about the change you feel?
No, I haven't. Since they're just colleagues, even if we're kind of in a friends basis, it feels kind of weird to just go to them and be like, "Hey, did something happen?" Because it's obvious that it's because I'm not there and they don't get a new member for the team as long as I quit, as I don't quit. So yeah, that's, like, the trouble that I'm in right now.
So do I get that right, that you, like, take time off, like, in general right now, like, you don't go to work at all, or you just go to work less?
I could just go to work less.
Oh, okay.
So if they're, for example, last week I've been there, like, for a day, and the week before I think I've been there, like, 2 days. So if it's possible to take time off, I talk to my boss and also to their, like, head nurse. And the head nurse is still really nice to me, so she was there, and she understands it quite well, but the other colleagues are not that supportive at the moment. And my boss said, like, "Yeah, sure, if their work is influencing your health, we don't want to have you as a patient again.
No, of course.
And the head nurse also says like, yeah, we have staff members and they're not sick at the moment, so if it's possible, I won't put you in the schedule. And that's how it works at the moment.
Okay, and what kind of things do you do when you go to work?
Yeah, it's like the usual stuff.
Okay.
I hand out medicine, bring them breakfast, bring Charles from one room to the operation room or to the doctor or like that kind of stuff.
Okay, so compared to like last session we had, do you still do like the managing parts?
It's just once in a while.
Okay.
So when the head nurse says like, yeah, I'm not able to do this and that, so she will hand me that because she knows that I do it in the right way, and I enjoy doing that. I didn't do it last week because I was there just once a week. I bet it will happen again within the next week, but like I said, it's just once in a while when she's not able to do something, then I will do that. It's not like I have her, it's not like on a regular basis.
Okay. And how does it make you feel that you work less right now? Because I remember that you really liked working in your job.
Yeah, it's kind of boring sometimes when I'm at home. When my child was in kindergarten and my husband works, I kind of don't know what to do with me.
Okay.
And I tried to do the homework. Like I was sitting down and was thinking really hard what I enjoy besides my job and my family, and I couldn't really think of anything.
Okay.
So it was really weird because I'm so busy, and I was so busy the last couple of years that I didn't really have time for hobbies or something that I enjoy next to my family and my job. So when I'm at my job, when I worked, I had because you have to do the extra shifts and everything, that when I came home I was spending time with my family, and I didn't really have time for real hobbies because I also had my friends to visit.
Yeah,
and of course I really like to spend time with my friends and go out once in a while, but I can't really think of anything else what I really enjoy besides my job and my family. And it was kind of surprising for me as well because I thought like I really have like a really fulfilled life, and I feel like this is kind of disappointing me as well that I don't have anything else.
Okay. Okay, so realizing that there is maybe not that much between your job and your family right now, make you feel a little disappointed with yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like I don't have anything else to fall back on.
Okay.
And like I said, last week I was really happy that the kindergarten called actually, and we're like, yeah, you can do that, and I was really happy to help and to manage all that stuff. But on the other hand, when I was at home and my child wasn't there and my family wasn't there and everyone was busy because my friends work as well during the day, and I was kind of bored because I didn't know what to do with myself.
Okay, yeah, well, that's something. So then, referring to your daughter again, she's in kindergarten during the day, and then you spend the afternoon with her, especially if you have time off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love to do that. So we go to the playground and we visit my mom, or we visit friends of hers. Like she has like some little kindergarten friends, and she likes to play with them in the afternoon as well. And I get really well along with their parents as well. So that's really nice because she plays, she has fun, or we baked at home, or we paint, or there's every time something that you can do with a toddler. And she's really active.
Okay, and then, you just spend time with her. What have you talked to your husband about your situation right now?
It's really difficult. Like he works a lot, and when he's there, he's listening, but he's not giving me a real advice, if I can say it like that. Since he's working that often, and sometimes I feel like he wants to have me home, and he's like really excited when I'm home. it's like, oh, you picked our daughter out, that's so great. Instead of my mom doing that. But he never says it that way. He never says like, oh, I really enjoy when you're home and you're taking care of our child. But he implies that in his
Okay.
way, so it's really weird at the moment. I'm not quite sure how to describe it because he doesn't give me like real opinions about this. He's just like, he's trying to be supportive and he wants to have me happy, and he says that every time. But on the other hand, he's like really like, oh, you're staying home, that's so great. And you're taking time off. Oh yeah, that's great as well. What did you do today? And when I work, he's not that excited, I would say.
Okay.
Like he's more hold back, and he's asking about work, but not just like, oh, what did you do or how was it? He's just like, oh yeah, did you have a nice day?
Okay. How would you say was his interest when like you first met him, or when you were starting? Well, when you were working, was he always not that interested in your job, or?
He was really interested in it when I started, and he was like, that's a great job. And sometimes I feel like he's like really on their old basics, like their man works a lot of time, and so he thinks like a nurse is like a woman job. So he was supportive, and he was like not excited, but he asked me about it. He asked me like, how was your day? And when I started in their child hospital, he was also like really supportive, and was like, that's so great. That with what kind of children do you work? And he was asking a lot about it. But it got less and less from time. But I think it's obvious that you're not that interested when it's interesting when it's kind of new, and I think it's every time more or less the same. So yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's like really an indicator if he's less interested in that, but I feel like it changed a little bit when we got our daughter.
Okay.
So I took like a few months off afterwards, and then she started nursery school and so on, and and then he was like less, I wouldn't say less supportive. He didn't ask that much about my work anymore, but I felt so excited about our daughter that he asked a lot about her, because he doesn't see her that much during the week. And so I didn't really get that he wasn't really happy about it. But since I'm not working that much, I feel like there's a big difference between when I'm home the day and when I'm not.
Okay, so you feel like your partner wants you to stay home
Yes.
and take care of your daughter.
Yeah, but he never says it that way. So it's kind of, and I don't want to ask him like, do you want to do that? Because he would say like, if I tell him that I'm thinking about my mother, and every time everybody else or some people think that I should stay at home, and I'm thinking about it, he's like really excited. But when I say like, yeah, I want to go home, I want to go to work, and I want to do something else, he says also something like, yeah, if that makes you happy. So he's not really not supportive, but he's not supporting either.
And did this like change since your accident?
And it wasn't a topic before. So I never talked before I had my injury that I would quit my job. So he never asked for it, if you can say it like that. And he would never imply that I would do that, because my job was part of my life, and it was part of me, and he knew if he would take it away, we had a big fight and so on. So I think he never implied that, but since it's an option, he feels that I feel that he thinks that I should do it.
Okay, have you ever talked to him about that, or?
Yeah, well, more or less. Like, I talk with him about my options and what I'm thinking about right now, and he is listening really well, but he never gives his own opinion, or he he just gives a reaction more or less. So when I talk about staying at home, he's like really happy and excited, and he's thinking like, oh, then you can do that with our daughter and that, and what is about that? And when I'm talking about starting a new job, or like last week we talked about the health insurance, and when I talked about that with him, he wasn't that excited, but he was still saying like, yeah, if you want to do that, and if that makes you happy, but he doesn't have like a real opinion about it.
20 minutes.
So you feel like he supports you, even he maybe doesn't agree with you in all
Yes.
things.
That's right.
And what is he working for, or what is he doing?
He's working for a big company. He's like a sales manager, so he sells stuff, and therefore he works a lot of hours during the week. And usually he wakes up with us, and sometimes he has time to drop our daughter off at the kindergarten.
Okay.
But most of the times I'm doing that. And yeah, he comes home late, around 8, sometimes around 7, but never earlier.
Okay.
And our daughter goes to bed around 7:30, so he sees her half an hour a day, and on the weekends, but he's home, and he really spends a lot of time with us, and otherwise it's a really good family life.
Going like a little bit away from the topic of your
Yeah.
husband, I would like, you said that there are people they think you shouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that one a little bit?
Yeah, sure. My mom thinks I shouldn't work at all, so she was home when I was a child,
Okay.
and she thinks that's how it should be. My father was never home when I was a child. He was working, he was traveling a lot, so he wasn't there on the weekends. So I saw him like 2 hours or 3 hours a week.
That's not.
No, that's not much. And my mom was home the whole time, so it was really good to have someone at home, because when the other party is working that much, you really have like one person to fall back on. And when she never worked. I think she stopped when my older brother was born, and afterwards she never started again. And when I got pregnant, she was implying that I quit my job. She was literally saying like, oh yeah, then how long can you work now? And I was like, yeah, as long as I'm able to do so, and then I will take a break. And she was like, you take a break? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so it was a really weird conversation, but when I tried to explain it to her, she never really said something against it. She was just arguing for it, but we never argued about it, or we had a fight about it. She was just like, but you should do that. So that's how it should work. And a friend of mine, she said the same. Like she's pregnant right now, so she will quit her job in a couple of months, and she will stay home, and that's how it should work for her.
Okay.
So she was implying the same thing when I got pregnant. She was like, yeah, and now you stay home, or what are you doing, and do you want to do some volunteer work, because that would be fine for her. But otherwise she was really like, yeah, if you get a child, you should be there. As a mother, you should stay home, and a stay-at-home mom, the kids from stay-at-home moms are more intelligent and more taken care of, and the healthiest ones, and so on. So she was the one that really argued with me.
Okay.
Like when I said like, yes, but my job is a part of me, and my child is happy when I'm happy. She was like, yeah, but you will be happy when you're with your child. So there was like I think we had a big fight once, and afterward we're kind of like tiptoed around the topic, because every time when we got into it, there would be a little argument, and then we started to like go back, and there was no point with her arguing, because she had her opinion and I had mine, and there was nothing like in between.
About 25 minutes.
Thanks. Okay, so yeah, your mom seems to support you, even she has a different opinion. Did anything change in the relationship to your mom since the accident?
No, she's actually really supportive. So she was there when she took care of me when I got my back injury.
Yeah.
She was taking a lot of care of my child since I wasn't there. So she picked her up from kindergarten. She brought her to the hospital when I was there, or when I was at home when I couldn't really walk or stand that long. She was taking care, and she was more or less moving in. So she came in the morning and went back in the evening, and she never said anything. But when I never told her that I'm thinking about staying home, because I knew that this would be like a big topic for her and she would stick to it. And I didn't want that. So yeah, but otherwise nothing really changed between us.
So she really helped you during the hard time, and she's still part of your life.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she's a big part of our life and of my child's life. It would be like a big break if she wouldn't be there for her as well. And I really need her to, if I work, then I really need her to take care of her. And she's really glad to do it, and she's really happy to do it. And they have such a good granddaughter and grandma relationship, and I still have a really good relationship to my mom, since she was there my whole childhood, and my dad wasn't there, so I'm really close to her as well.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of the session.
All right.
If I sum up, I would say we talked a lot about your relationships in general.
Yeah.
Regarding to colleagues, regarding to your husband and your mom.
Yeah.
What we were missing out a little is like the homework assignment and in general your future plans.
Okay.
So I would really like to focus on that next time a little bit more. And you can try to do like the same assignment I did the last time this time. And you might come up with a different idea. If not, that's okay.
All right.
But then see you next week.
See you next week then.